earth is school. That's right. Everything you're doing. I know you think you finished 12, and some of you finished 16. Some of you have finished 8 already. But let me just tell you, earth, everything you do on this earth, every single stinking thing you do on this planet earth is school. It's a classroom. You're in class today, in fact. How do you think you're doing? There are so many little things in Scripture that would actually indicate exactly what I'm saying. One of the clearest examples might just be the correlation between the law of Moses, which stood for 1,500 years. And yet, in spite of that legacy of centuries that they built living around the law of Moses, the Torah, first 5 books of the Bible, Pentateuch to the Greeks, Torah to the Jews, and then all those centuries of adding tradition and tradition and tradition on top of the Torah, the Talmud, and its written traditions that coincide with the Torah. And yet, after all that time, 1,500 years or so, Christ comes and dies on the cross and walks out of the grave on the 3rd day and inspires and calls the Apostle Paul, who was also the Jew, Saul of Tarsus, educated in the Sanhedrin, sat at the feet of Gamaliel, one of the wisest Jews of his day, converted by Christ by a blinding light and a voice from heaven that connected Jehovah to the Son of God, Jesus Christ. When the Jews said, "Who are you, Jehovah, Yahweh?" and the voice from heaven said, "I am Jesus." And a Jew was converted to a Christian in that instant, in that moment, and that Jew would write the bulk of the New Testament and then tell us things like, the law was just a schoolmaster. 1,500 years, and you're going to wash it away with a phrase, the law was a schoolmaster. It simply came to teach you something, and now it has been replaced or fulfilled. Meaning, translation, now you've graduated from the law. But you hadn't graduated from life. And Paul didn't say my studies were over and my tests were over and my trials were over. He just said the law is over. The schoolmaster came and went in 1,500 years. And now what? We're done? No. Now I die daily. I continue to crucify this body so that it won't continue to sin against God. And so Paul continues and leaves us the idea that we're in a lingering conflict. We're in a daily struggle. Every single day I'm being tested and tried because that's what life is. It's a trial. It's only going to matter what we do in this life for maybe the next gazillion years. Matters a lot more then than it matters now, doesn't it? Think about this. Well, I guess you shouldn't think about this, but, it's my job, so I do think about this because I'm the one who gets to see video productions of kids like this. Today, you 5 and 3 in particular, because they had your videos. I hope you enjoyed that today. People celebrating you with videos on the wall. The next time they'll do that, don't you? Be at your funeral. The next time in your life, has anybody ever put a bunch of videos up there of me? I'm still alive, kicking. I've been doing a lot of good stuff. I've traveled around. I got a little history. Have you ever seen a big montage of me and my accomplishments? No. No, you will when I die. So enjoy that today, graduates, because the next time anybody will put together all your pictures will be at your funeral. There'll be a whole lot of pictures of you floating around up there. Hey, but guess what that means? It means you've graduated again. Yeah, you graduated now, and we got to see all your photos. And one day, we're going to get to see them again. And that'll mean the same thing. You graduated. You went on to what's next. But there's a problem. What is next? Well, you're deciding that now in this school we call life on earth. And you're deciding what's next. What is next? Well, I don't know. What do you want it to be? Number 2 on the screen just says we learn a little and then we test. That's life. We learn a little. I know some of y'all are geniuses, and God knows there's been a few passed through my office in the last 30 or 40 years who let me know they were geniuses. And that's why they don't believe in God, or that's why they don't believe anything about the church, or they don't believe anything. They walked in my office to hear from me, I guess, because they're way too smart to be duped by Jesus Christ, and they're way too smart to be suckered into a church life, and they're way too brilliant to be a believer in God, because they don't. And I have said to a couple, why are you in my office? Why did you even come? I have little to say to you. I'm a believer, and I embrace God with all my heart and my soul. I live by His principles. Why did you even come by to argue with me about it? You think I'm supposed to convince you there's a God? And sometimes they don't actually know why they're there. Well, I thought it was your job. Well, it's not my job. You believe or you don't. We're all in the same classroom. We're in the same classroom. Think about that. Some kids graduate with honors. A couple of them apparently do here. Some kids just graduate. Guess what? Some kids don't. Some don't make it. I was a dummy in school. I goofed off a lot. I failed 5.5 credits in high school, goofing off. I enjoyed school, thought it was a lot of fun. And then I realized one day, oh, hey, I'm not going to get through this year. And I had teachers hustling to try to help me make up. I'd fail things like, I don't know, spelling. I'd fail things like English, one of the easiest classes in the school. And the teacher would say, if you'll meet me at school and give me an oral report on this book and that other book, I'll see if I can bump your grade up a notch. And I'd wait until an hour before I was supposed to go to his classroom and give him a report. And I'd borrow Cliff's notes from somebody, and I'd skim through it. And I'd go into his classroom alone and stand up like an idiot and say, To Kill a Mockingbird was written by... So they wouldn't pass me on account of those kind of things. And so I had to do a lot of extra work to try to catch up with everybody else and get by. It's funny now because I'm on my home page for my, what did Asher say? She's coming up on her 20th year? Yeah, I think I've already been to my 45th. I don't really remember. 67, 77, 87, 97, 2007. My 50th coming up next year. 50 years out of high school. I know what that makes me in your eyes, Jake. A dinosaur. They had telephones when I was your age. Well, we only just had one in the house in a hallway, and it was connected to a line, and you had to crank a dial. Not exactly, but close. Man, I just never quite got it in school. I never quite got it. That if I would just apply myself and study ahead of time, the test would be easy. Some of y'all are going to struggle through life, and you're going to die miserable like you lived miserable because you never quite got it. If you'd have just lived a little better life, the few tests that come along are easily passed. But when you live a sorry life and a lazy life and an undisciplined life and